And joining us is publisher of the niche newspaper, Ikechukwu Amaechi. Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning.
I'm actually very glad you are here because it feels like, you know, in the last
so
1 week, everything has dabaru, everything has turned upside down. And I'm waiting for you to give us your boost this morning. And of course, we'll be starting off with the Punch newspaper. I mean, I'm curious to see what the front page of the Punch newspaper says. Federal government knocks Obasanjo as ex-president rates Buhari worst in corruption. All right, still here, presidency lampoons OBJ for warning Tinubu government may dwarf Buhari's fraud index. And here we also have TED Fund plans 700 billion naira disbursement of varsities. Customs intercept undeclared $1.1 million at Kano Airport. And we have
cash. Yeah, I saw that video.
Cash. Fuel subsidy removal saved Nigeria from bankruptcy, says Tinubu. Tax reforms, reps approve new VAT sharing formula for states. Federal government, foreign airlines begin talks over rising fares. 2027, PDP governors, OB, NNPP, Mall Alliance to stop Tinubu. Suspension, embattled Natasha files fresh suit as Senate backs Akpabio. And the drama continues. Let's move now to the next paper, the Vanguard.
Okay, the Vanguard newspaper, the headline there says, reps adopt 7.5% VAT. That's the current VAT rate. Reject increase to 15%. They wanted to double it. The writer says reject inheritance tax. That's a good one. I'm sure so many Nigerians will be happy with that. Approved committee report. We await details of approval before comment, says Nasima. And don't celebrate yet. CSOs advises Nigerians. And still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, millions of Nigerians still struggling with poor internet access. And Tinubu performed very well. Peter Obi, I guess there's a context to that. If you want to know what he said, get a copy of the Vanguard newspapers. I'll enact Fly Nigeria Act to boost local airlines, says Festus Kiyamo. What people will be saying, you know, don't tell us what you do, just do it. Like Nike says. Federal government to curb borrowing by optimizing assets and resource mobilization, says the Finance Minister Wale Edun. Rivers crisis will shock Tinubu if Fubara is impeached, says Egbesu. Bode George, the writer says, Bode George to Wike, the rhetoric, struggling to read that. But still on the front page of the Vanguard newspapers. Nigeria on the brink, but there's hope, says Catholic bishops. And Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, Obasanjo free not to use the road when completed, says the Honorable Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, since he said it's a corrupt and unnecessary project, so he's free not to. But the good thing is, Abeokuta and Otta Farms is not along the Lagos-Calabar coastal way, so he won't be using it anyway. And it will be completed in 8 years. Who knows?
Please, I'm not there. Let's start with
If I say bye-bye, if you like, say Gida. now you get your mouth.
Federal government knocks Obasanjo as ex-president. Rates Buhari worst in corruption. The ex-president has rated Buhari worst in corruption. Let's get your thoughts on that.
Well, that's Obasanjo being
Obasanjo.
There is this saying in the US now, Trump being Trump. So Obasanjo must be Obasanjo. He does not pull any punches, and when he goes out there to criticize, he makes his point as he ought to do. But the truth of the matter is that, look, like Obasanjo or hate him, I don't think there is any Nigerian who wants to be honest with himself who will not agree that Buhari's government is about the worst we've had since 1999. I don't know whether Tinubu will
trump it.
Will trump that record, but he's only 2 years there now.
And what
And so
matrix
far?
are you using to judge the Buhari administration?
Every metric, in terms of corruption, inefficiency. What did Buhari achieve in 8 years? Is it the insecurity?
I mean, people point to the second Niger bridge infrastructure, the trains.
So that the only thing you do in 8 years is to complete the second Niger bridge, which of course you did not even start in the first place. But even if he had started and finished it, do you know the amount of money Buhari borrowed? Do you know the level of debt that government plunged us into? And I've said it here on this program before. Benga, travel by road now across Nigeria and ask yourself, where did Buhari put all those infrastructure that they were telling us that Buhari was borrowing to build infrastructure? Where are they? Where are those roads? Look, we may continue to deceive ourselves. But the truth of the matter is that if Buhari was not succeeded by another APC government, but even at that, even Tinubu himself, his ministers, everybody, they have said that they inherited a very bad situation.
I mean, it's almost like they're no members of the same party.
Exactly.
You hear the sort of comments they make about the past administration.
Exactly.
It
So
was not also.
exactly. So you asking me, is it insecurity? People being slaughtered by herdsmen all over the place? People killed in Benue State as if they were not human beings? People slaughtered in Plateau? People slaughtered, and to make matters worse, when the Benue elders, I don't know if you remember, went to see Buhari in Asorok, he told them to learn to live with their neighbors. And the neighbors were those who were slaughtering them and made no effort. So there's no arguing the fact Buhari took us to Stone Age. Buhari took us to Stone Age, and I am not surprised. This is a man who never did anything to improve himself. In the 30 years interval between when he was overthrown,
He was facing his farm business.
and the farm had a certain number of cows that never increased. So even as a farmer, Buhari was a failure. Even as a farmer, Buhari was a failure. And look at all the revelations that are being made now. Is it his Attorney General, a Minister of Justice, or is it the Aviation Minister, or is it who? Or is it the woman that was in charge of the what do you call it?
There's a picture of the former president in the villa. He was watching TV and relaxed. He had a toothpick in his mouth, and that, many people have said, it defines his presidency. For someone to have contested or sought elective office for the highest office in the land for 4 consecutive times, you get the opportunity and then you're so aloof. I'm sure his ministers had the best ride ever. You know, you come in, there's no pressure.
If you sit down to discuss,
you become a minister, you stay as minister for 8 years.
If you have access to even those who served under Buhari and discuss with them, now that they are no longer in power, and if they tell you what they know about that man, you will, that's the fact, you will be surprised that Nigeria even survived Buhari. Buhari was a disaster in power.
Yeah.
I mean, Tinubu's administration don't seem to agree with the former president. They have, of course, lampooned him, according to the Punch front pages. Front page of the Punch also says fuel subsidy removal saved Nigeria from bankruptcy, says Tinubu.
But, Olive, I just told you now, Tinubu can, or his people can lampoon Buhari, Obasanjo, for all we care. But these are the same people who told you, Nuhu Ribadu said it, Oshomole said it, that the economy was dead. Who ran it aground? Yes, even as at the time Jonathan left office in 2015, Nigeria's economy was on the ascendancy. Our GDP was robust. Buhari took everything down. These same people you are talking about now were the people who said that if they did not do what they did, that there would have been no economy, but so to say, by now. So they can continue talking tongue-in-cheek, but they themselves confirmed that Buhari was a disaster.
But Mr. Amaechi, let's look at two things that happened in the Buhari administration. Maybe we're not being too fair to him. There was COVID-19, a global pandemic. The world shut down. It was a huge disruption. And then the Russia-Ukraine war. Is that not enough reason for, you know, his performances not to be stellar?
Is it Nigeria that only faced the COVID-19? What of other countries?
Even China.
Even in Africa. What of other countries? And what was the level of impact of COVID-19? If we are sincere to ourselves, here in Nigeria, don't forget that the Jonathan government also faced Ebola virus and all that. You, as a government, should be able to solve problems. We've had times. Look, when Obasanjo was also in office, we had global financial crisis that they were able to weather. The truth is that Buhari did not have the capacity to be president. I've argued this before. Even making Buhari chairman of a local government would have been an honor that was way beyond him. Then to make him the president of Nigeria for 8 years, look, we are caught in disaster, and disaster we got. And,
you know, him getting the presidency ticket, so that means there's also, the APC does have a level of blame to bear if, you know, we go by what you're saying. And this same APC that campaigned that they're going to continue from where President Buhari stopped. And now, you know...
Look,
continuing what's this?
I've always argued. No, but Tinubu said that they were going to continue now from where Buhari signs off. And, of course, that is now what he's doing. Nigerians are still being pauperized by the day. We are still borrowing massively. And nobody is seeing where these things are going into. But, look, in any other country where the vote of the people determine who gets into office, there was no way APC would have won the 2023 election, because every election is a referendum, not only on the people in power, but even on the political party in power. Now, everybody knew. Look, I don't remember. I don't know if you remember what Tinubu said, whether it was in Cross River or Akwa Ibom when he went on campaigns in 2023. He said they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. We will teach them how to do it. Who are they? The same government. They have consistently said that Buhari ran Nigeria aground. So how can a party produce a government that ran the country aground, and 8 years down the road, you are compensating the same political party with another term? It doesn't make sense. But of course, the vote of the people does not count in determining...
I mean, they'll say the hood doesn't make the monk. But let's move on to the Daily Times newspaper. There's a headline there I'd really like us to look at, an extra. The Daily Times newspaper, the headline says 3,689 prisoners on death row nationwide across the country. That's a staggering huge number. We also have IGP reshuffles, police leadership. We deployed 7 AIGs and 18 CPs. DSTV go to the tariff hike suit. Court temporarily stops FCPC from sanctioning multi-choice. Customs sees 1.8 billion undeclared foreign currency in Kano Airport. Let's talk about this. 3,689 prisoners on death row nationwide. That's a huge number. I believe, I'm not sure if we have a moratorium on executing on death penalty in Nigeria, but why torture these people? What I've learned is a lot of the state governors, maybe for religious reasons or otherwise, are adamant to sign the death warrant or the execution order for, I guess maybe they're afraid spirits will disturb them in the night or something like that. And we're looking at forming laws or adjusting the constitution to make it be the job of the state attorney general, so the spirits can go and disturb the AG of the state instead of the governor. What do you make of this?
Yeah, well, of course, having over 3,600 people on death row is quite a huge number. I'm not too sure. In the last 25 or 26 years of this, our democracy,
Yeah.
aside Oshomole, who signed the death warrant, and I think about 2 or 3 people were executed when he was governor. The governors, Nigerian governors, have shied away from signing the death warrants, and that's why the number continues to increase. As a person, as a human being, I don't agree with capital punishment.
I mean, you see kidnapping, banditry, armed robbery, you have to set deterrence and lessons.
As a person,
And you're not the only person. I mean, there are people around the world who are pushing for the abolition of capital
I don't
punishment.
agree with capital punishment. I think it should be taken out of our statute books. Give these people life imprisonment and let them sit.
Life imprisonment after taking people's lives, life imprisonment on taxpayers' monies, you feed them fat. If they have long age, if they live to old age, for 100 years old,
I'm not
feeding murderers and criminals.
I'm not talking on the grounds of morality. This is my personal
I respect
conviction. But the truth of the matter is that the very sad thing about death sentence is that, look, some people have also been killed
wrongfully.
Miscarriage of justice.
For crimes they did not commit. And when you are executed, there is no remedy. You're already killed. So that even if they come out tomorrow, we've seen people in the US who, after serving 30 years, they will now say, because of new technologies, new ways of carrying out investigation, they will say, we are sorry. This man was wrongfully convicted. Yeah. Now, what if that person had been executed?
And that's a valid argument.
We've seen people going to the stake and still professing their innocence and saying, I didn't commit this crime. You kill me for nothing. And the person is executed. And again, the flip side of also the argument you make, I agree. There are some crimes that people...
If you're caught red-handed and
commit
tight evidence, everything...
Exactly.
Yes.
I said there are some crimes that people commit, and you ask yourself, are these human beings? And
the beheadings of girls, femicide.
And you will tell yourself that this man is not a human being, and in fact should not be allowed to dwell here with us. But the flip side of that argument also, I don't know if you see, when the armed robbery, the punishment was death by firing squad. They did reduce the number of robbery incidents, violent robbery incidents. It doesn't. So that even if you kill this 3,900 people. And, you know, those days, public
televise.
execution was a spectacle. People go and
At the
watch
Babbage, Echo Atlantic.
everywhere and watch these people being executed. And while they were being executed, some people will be picking pockets there and then. So it doesn't even stop.
It doesn't act as a deterrent.
Exactly.
But I think it's even beyond the death row. Even generally, our prison system needs to be looked into. Is it really serving as a deterrent? Does it really reframe the mindset of the prisoners? Some of them come out even
But
more
they've changed the name. It's no longer prison. It's
correctional
facility.
facility. Is it truly a correctional facility?
It is not correcting anybody. The truth of the matter is that people go into Nigeria's correctional institutions or prisons and they come out worse.
All right.
Pickpockets go there and they come out learning the trade of real armed robbery. Because, and you know, there is no... I visited a prison in the UK. Olive. In fact, you even prefer not to be there. The only thing is that your freedom is restricted. But those guys live life better than those of us who
is writing
better than
now.
some higher institutions, postgraduates,
yes.
NYSC.
living conditions. Yeah.
I said I visited this prison to see a friend of mine, and it was unbelievable. The guy was there adding weight. In fact, he was doing exercise every morning because he wanted to reduce weight.
It was enjoying.
It was that. The only thing is that you are denied your
freedom of movement.
Freedom. But here, go to Ikoyi prison. Go to any other prison.
Kiri.
By the time you come out, you are so dehumanized.
I mean, except you're a VIP.
There was this story yesterday that said Nigerian prisoners are dying in droves because of the quality of meals they are served. So, starting from the meals they give you, how can you say you are feeding a prisoner with about 1,500 naira?
I remember in law school when some of my colleagues went to, it's part of the experience we gained. I didn't go. My colleagues went to the prison. I remember them coming back so dejected, discouraged. People's eyes were swollen because they had cried. You know, those who have been wrongfully arrested and just thrown. And the living conditions, despicable.
And do you know why? And do you know what? To make matters even worse, 70%
are innocent.
Those are waiting trial.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so
Okay, yes. Absolutely.
And justice delayed is justice denied.
Those are
These
waiting trial.
conversations
And there are people who spend up to 10 years
Awaiting trial.
awaiting trial.
It's really sad.
Tragic.
You know, the conversation needs to come up again as to the effectiveness of our current correctional facilities.
And the entire criminal justice
Yes,
system.
our criminal justice system. But these are conversations that we'll have on another day. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Ikechukwu
It was a
Amaechi, for
pleasure.
joining us. Thank you.
The pleasure is always mine.